Do. Welcome back to another edition of Digipreneur Live. It has been so long. It's been quite some time since I've been able to get on live with you guys. And you guys know that I love talking to you live. It's the best time to engage. We have a lot of fun anytime we do a Digipreneur live segment. And it's been some time because, I've been busy. Your boy has been busy. From doing a wide variety of conferences to workshops, we have been busy. But you know what? From time to time, I got to make sure I check back in with you guys. But anytime we go live and we have a guest on the Digipreneur live show, you guys know we come with bombs. You know we come with heat. And tonight is no change of pace. We're gonna turn things up a whole notch. So before we get started, please let me know where you are tuning in from. Who do we got? The first comment comes in from Prince Breeby. What going on, Prince? Then we have Desiree. Desiree, greetings. Everything is okay, Desiree. I hope you are doing okay too. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Are you tuning in from Jamaica? Are you tuning in from St. Lucia, Barbados, Guyana, Montserrat? Are you tuning in from Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Are you in the US? Are you in the UK? Are you in Canada? Let me know in the comments where you are watching the broadcast from tonight. You guys know we got to do a bit of a roll call. I want to make sure that we have the entire region covered. So let me know in the comments where you guys are tuning in from tonight, all right? Today's guest. Well, look at that. Hold on. Before we even get into that, people are letting us know. So Prince is coming in from Ghana. We got Ghana in the building. We got Trinidad and Tobago in the building. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from tonight, right? Let us know in the comments. I love to see where you guys are watching from because you never know. We got Ghana in the building. So just when you think that your business in the Caribbean is local and you are only appealing to people in your country, when you build your website, you build your digital presence, when you start going live and you start talking some much needed things, you start to attract people from all over the globe. And even if they're outside of your immediate market, there are people that still tune into what happens in the Caribbean to see what they can learn from the Caribbean and bring back into their home countries, all right? So you guys make sure you build your businesses online and don't just stay local, all right? Tonight's guest, I'm excited for. This is somebody who I can't stop seeing my timeline. This boss lady is all over the internet. She's all over the interwebs, and she's doing a whole heap of things. Today, we are joined by the president of the JTDA and the host of the popular podcast, The Balanced Lady Boss. This woman is also the CEO and founder of the company Epic Transformation. She is a business and life coach for professional women to live and lead so they can experience a deep sense of contentment. She is the author of the 5-year Love Affair book, and that captures her transformation from being a breast cancer survivor all the way up to the tech boss that she is today. I want you guys to give a warm welcome, Digipreneur Live. Please drop some flames in the chat. Give it up for Miss Stacey Hines.
No, like Keron, no. For real though, we have to do this again tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that, just so I can get the intro and the bombs and the fire and I feel nice, man.
Listen, I've learned from the best. Me and Terry Curl have practiced the intros. So anytime I have to bring on the guests, I can come correct.
I like it. Big up Terry.
You know? So how are you? How you been?
Let me tell you, I'm really good. You know, actually, I'm in a nice zone right now. You know, when you spend a couple months pulling out your hair, you feel like you're a little stressed out and you're a little anxious and you're just trying to control all the moving parts of this big thing, this mega
Yes.
activity that we're about to take on for 3 days. No, I'm just like, let's execute, let's deliver, you know. So I'm feeling really settled in my bossness, as you call it,
I love it.
and looking forward to an amazing experience. So that's the feeling, but behind the scenes is
Madness. Listen, and you know what? And you are doing some of the most important work in the region right now. So you definitely have to we got to drop a bomb for that, because the work that you and the JTDA is doing is needed. You know. So let us jump right into it, because I know your time is limited. We have a lot to talk about before you got to get back to doing what you got to do, right?
Right.
So we are gathered here today to talk about BizTech 2021. For those who have never heard about it, because this is the first time they are, starting their business. This is the first time they've had to start thinking about technology and integrating it into their business. What is the BizTech conference? Stacey, take it away.
All right. So BizTech Conference is a hybrid event this year because, COVID's still keeping. So it's a hybrid event where we are actively seeking to connect persons in the region with everything that's going on technology-wise. So we're sharing innovation and technology trends. We're sharing concerns and issues that are at stake for everybody. So, everybody has big concerns about education. Everybody has big concerns about connectivity. How about leadership? How about e-commerce and fintech, your payment gateways, all the different ways and things that you need to be thinking about for advancing your business, advancing yourself as an individual in the tech space. We are covering all that and more in a virtual conference that is starting on Wednesday and is going over 3 days. So it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And each day is a different focus area. And the reason we break it up like that is because it's a lot of information, and we want to make sure that we're able to get across the messages that are really key for the persons on the other end of the screen. We're talking about all the people who are already in business, whether your business micro, like is you and another person or just you alone, or large. That means that, you're big like the banks and so forth. There is something in the space for everybody. And the truth is, that we put technology on the back burner. Everybody want to talk about them love life. Them want to talk about them bank account. Them want to talk about them fitness. Me too fat, me too slim, and have enough muscle, whatever it is. But they don't realize that technology is beneath all of that right now. We can't get up and not use a phone, right? Correct. The other day when Facebook popped down, the whole of the region and the world was scrambling because persons had not been paying attention. But guess what happened now, Keron?
Talk to me.
Everybody come back online the next day, and so we forget that we need to understand tech a little bit better, right? And so that's what the conference is here to address. The conference is here to address any questions that you may have, or even curiosities that you may have about technology and how it affects you, the regular person. And it no matter whether you're in school as a student or you're a veteran in the space, there's something that we're going to talk about that's going to touch you.
I love it. Now, you made you brought up an important event, and that was that Facebook outage where Facebook went down, Instagram went down, WhatsApp went down, and everybody was in a state of panic, right? Yeah. Talk to me about the importance of this conference and the timing of it, given the fact that we are still in COVID. And, this isn't the first time this year that Facebook hasn't popped down. It's been a couple times now. Yeah. How important is the timing of this event now that we have been experiencing COVID? We are seeing what happens with these network outages, and we know that businesses need to be online in some shape or form to conduct business. How important is the timing of this event?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Keron. And I think that especially at this point in the year where we're getting ready for one of the busiest seasons for most businesses, right? We're talking about, the holiday season is approaching, and persons have become very heavily reliant on these social media platforms. What is escaping most persons is that they don't recognize that there is a whole universe of opportunities for people to connect with potential customers and potential leads beyond social media. So that's why there was such a panic, because we don't understand the end-to-end experience of e-commerce.
Right.
We don't clear about how to utilize these platforms as just a way to attract people, but then you're moving them into your own space so that you can then build relationships, nurture those relationships, and create now customers for yourself directly. So the timing of it, I believe, is ideal, because we need to start thinking through e-commerce and thinking through financing our businesses online, because pandemic is still keeping. It's still a party over here with COVID. So what that looks like is doing business online. And even post-pandemic, people are now accustomed to doing business that way. And so we don't have a choice but to meet the customer where they are. It's been proven over and over again, right? So persons who may have had their businesses out there, and this is especially for the smaller business owners, right? They have their businesses, and their entire population that they talk to is on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and it's literally one company owned the whole of that, right? And so when now something as tragic as this event takes place, it makes people perk up their ears, but they perk up their ears just for the moment. So this conference is supposed to now help you understand why you have to listen beyond the momentary incidents. Because with tech, you're going to have momentary incidents all the time. You have to know the full experience and understand the full gamut behind the things as to why you have to do what you have to do. Meet them, greet them, and exactly.
That's where you said it well. She said it right.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Stacey, talk to me. What is the dangers that we need to stress to Caribbean people when they are only building their business on social media? What is the danger of doing that?
Yeah, well, first of all, the danger is that you don't create a relationship with persons directly. And so they believe that your brand is only available to them in one place. It also means that you're not casting your net wide enough, because digital marketing, the sphere of digital marketing, is not just social media. Social media has really just gained traction in the last 5 years or so. But email is still the number one way to connect with and convert, right? So the danger is that you guys are leaving money on the table. That's what is the biggest danger. You're leaving money on the table. And you're also relying on somebody else's platform to direct the way that your customers' potential data is being managed, right? Remember that we have all of this thing about security. You see, cybersecurity is another thing that persons aren't paying attention to, that we're going to be deep diving into at the conference. Cybersecurity is so critical. And one of my speakers that I have is actually the chairperson of the UK Cybersecurity Council, right? That's a big up job. Right?
Yes.
And when and she's actually a Jamaican born person. So she comes back. Yes, it's a Jamaican sitting right there at the top. I just love it, right?
You see Caribbean people everywhere and in everything now.
They're all over the place. And when I was inviting her to talk, and she wanted to have a meeting to discuss this, and I was telling her that this is really critical, and I think we need to talk about it because there have been so many breaches, that we're not familiar with, etc. I just said, Stacey, I think it's important that persons understand this, and I see why you're so passionate. But do you actually believe that people in the Caribbean are ready for this conversation? Because I'm not seeing it. And I said, well, Mrs. Natterson, with all due respect, if we don't have the conversation, then they will never see it.
Correct.
And she said, you have a point. right? And so this is where now we're going to have that conversation with the experts. We're talking about global experts that can bring the real and hopefully help people to check into what is actually happening in the space.
Yeah, it really is a chicken and the egg conversation, because just like we were talking offline, there are some topics that are being brought up in the conference, and I'm like, we haven't even strung those letters together here in Trinidad, and I can't even imagine some of the smaller islands are having those conversations. But unless we have those conversations and we start to teach and educate on use case scenarios for how this technology can help us in our day-to-day lives and propel the region forward and the culture forward, unless we start having these conversations, we can't expect people to just wake up one day and say, aha, AR for my business. Let me just get some augmented reality shopping. It's not going to happen. Right?
No, really.
So we really do have to have these conversations and try to break it down as bite-sized and simple as possible for people to grasp and kind of bring them up throughout the process.
Absolutely. And that's what thought leadership is all about. I think one of the opportunities that we have here in the Caribbean is really to leapfrog, right? We have an opportunity to leapfrog. I think we kind of get accustomed to learning from the North Star. Like we look to the North Americas and we look to Europe and UK to say, okay, let's piggyback, let's follow. You'll hear, I wrote an article, actually a couple of articles about how, persons in the different public sector areas always looking at like an Estonia, or they look at a Singapore. They're always looking at these countries that have already done the do, right? But they look at them in these silos, because you can't look across the ocean and say, well, Estonia has digital IDs and they have it everywhere and it's working perfectly. Let's implement digital IDs. It don't work like that. Estonia have leadership. Estonia have a concerted effort around a strategy. You have to, it's not just this is the tactic or this is the idea, let's do that.
Wholesale.
You understand? And I think this is one of the reasons why, Keron, this conference is really seeking to take a Caribbean focus. We want everybody, yes, it's a Jamaican host, but we want everybody to come and to participate and to pay attention and to drop comments to figure out what's important to you guys, because believe it or not, our governments listen. Whether them listen because we're complaining or we're advocating, or them listen because we put up a news article and them feel a way and they need to respond to it, whichever way it goes, they will listen. And if we're not speaking and if our voices are not being heard, then when are we going to actually see anything coming back around the fold? You understand? This is no longer an option, is basically what I'm saying. At some point, we have to adapt or die. It's relatively straightforward.
Yeah. And you see, and you brought up, again, so many key points, but the fact that one of the biggest areas that we struggle with is the localization of the strategies that we, when we look abroad for everything else. I don't mind if we look abroad and we get the ideas, but then we don't try to localize the solutions for our context. And I think one of the biggest challenges for me when I moved here was that from the outside, we just think of the Caribbean as like one big region. So you'd imagine that what works in Trinidad works in Jamaica. And then you come here and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Not only does more than half the things that we've learned in the US and Canada don't work in the Caribbean, but then you're telling me that what works in Trinidad doesn't work in Jamaica and doesn't work in...
Vice versa. Yeah.
So we can never take an idea and a strategy and bring it wholesale here without localization. But this is where we need more collaboration throughout the entire Caribbean, so we could see what are the challenges in Jamaica, what are the challenges over here, and really come together to build a holistic strategy for the entire region.
Oh gosh, yes, Keron, you're talking my language now. I think I can't tell you how much time I write about leadership and strategy and where is it and when are we going to see it. I think one of the things that we struggle with in the Caribbean region is we suffer from PR. We like the public relational experiences. We like to see the names in headlines.
We like to
But it doesn't
launch. We like to
necessarily mean
launch.
it launch, but I can't see the outcome. I don't know what it's delivering. I'm not able to actually tell the North Star and how you're getting there. I cannot see the
Right.
transformation, which is what I am all about. Whether
Right.
it is I'm doing it for JTDA or I'm doing it for Epic or
Right.
I'm doing it for any of the clients that I work with. I'm all about seeing us articulate a vision, building a strategy around how we're going to get to that. And then we can talk about executing the different ideas,
Correct.
right? The conference was the same path. I mean, we are operating as a non-profit
Right.
organization on a literal shoestring budget.
Right.
And the way that we are able to create something of this magnitude and of this impact is because we have a vision, and then we have a strategy, and we
Right.
have leadership and collaboration around getting to that outcome. The same
Right.
has to happen for the Caribbean region as it relates to digital transformation.
Love it. Love it. That
Yeah.
being said, talk to me. What are some of the core concepts that you guys are going to be diving into in the event?
Ooh. All right. So excitement. All right. So it's 3 days, and I'm going to mention the fact that it is a hybrid event, right? So we are very present to the COVID challenges, and so we're doing most of the speaking and workshop kind of engagement on Hopin, which is our online event platform that we're using.
Right.
And that is divided up over the 3 days. So day one is the focus is innovation, and it's called innovation in action. Like,
Right.
we don't just want to talk about the things that happen. We want to hear how it's been implemented and how it's affecting different outcomes, different sectors. So on that day, we actually have conversations around how innovation is being thought through for public and private sector. And we have some C-suite leaders having that discussion. We talk about innovation in security, including not just cybersecurity, but also, video and storage, because security doesn't just mean the online part. It still has
Right.
the other aspects as well.
Right.
And then we're going to be touching on education, the NFT art that you were talking about. We're going to have a couple of artists on discussing that.
Love it.
And then, of course, digital marketing. Like, we couldn't talk about innovation without talking about the marketing side of things.
Right.
And then on the second day now, which is day two, which is digital transformation day, we're now going to be talking about disruption in the space and how the digital shifts are actually creating a lot of challenges and changes in all the different areas. So
Right.
we're going to bring back in now talking about how companies, like big companies, what is the new role of the leaders in the tech space? So your CIOs, like, what exactly is it that they're doing to navigate all of these disruptions that are coming? We're going
Right.
to talk about the creative side, because you can't act like say it's just one industry alone and it's all private sector. So what's happening with the film industry? We have somebody coming to talk with us about that. And then now, one of the main areas that is becoming a major disruptor, not just in our region, but everywhere, is the workforce. So we're going to be touching on workforce transformation, because there's a huge shortage of tech skilled people, both in the region as well as globally. Like, everybody is hiring right now for tech resources, right?
Right.
It's never been seen before, the amount of persons that are hiring this space. So we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be talking about AI and the way that AI is actually creating an opportunity for transformation. And maybe, what are we paying attention to in that space? So we have that whole gamut around it. And then we have some of the big wigs that are actually the ones leading in that space. So we have a whole session with Google around AI and data. We have SAP coming on to talk about simplifying transformation.
Right.
And then, of course, we also have Microsoft that's going to be coming in as well. And,
Right.
and Microsoft and SAP have been really big sponsors and supporters of the event. So we're very grateful to them for that. And we're going to take on as well, not just, conceptual things. We also want to make sure that we touch on implementation stuff. So we have a session that's completely dedicated to that, where people who have actually gone through digital transformation, because it sounds pretty, but behind the scenes is a whole heap of effort and a whole heap of coordination and strategizing that is a part of it. And of course, we want to make sure that we touch on the whole broadband thing, where people are connected or not connected, and what the issues that they have there. And then day 3 now is what we're calling Fintech Friday. So it's all about the money bag on Friday. Okay? Yes, securing the bag is exactly what it's all about on the Friday. So I know that if we don't get attendance no other day, everybody must show up Friday so they can figure out how to make sure that they're getting that bag. So we're going to be touching on investing quite a bit, because I know that throughout the Caribbean region, one of the things that's been the kind of conversation piece is, will the next unicorn come from the Caribbean? And there are lots of very smart techies out here who have great ideas for business, and they can't figure out how to get funding. So we're actually going to be doing several different discussions around funding for fintechs, and we actually have a multi-funder that's going to be coming on and from Silicon Valley to talk about, some of the behind the scenes, the do's and don'ts, and how to actually succeed at fundraising. And of course, we couldn't forget our business owners, who are your primary audience, Keron, where we're going to be now talking about e-commerce and really being able to navigate that space of the end-to-end approach to building out and running your business online. So there's a masterclass on that, and we also have another couple of persons coming on to talk about e-commerce and digital payments. And so that discussion is going to be really, really, really important. And then we're going to be rounding out the day with a conversation from the Tech Beach guys, where they're going to be showcasing a couple of their tech companies that have actually gone through their accelerator program. And I know that a couple of entrepreneurs from Trinidad have actually participated in that accelerator program, and the wider region as well. There's quite a few of them that went through the first round. Now, this is all happening virtually. Now, in the middle of that, on the Wednesday and the Thursday, we have here for it. Yes, let's go. In the middle of that, we have Wednesday and Thursday. If you're on the island of Jamaica, next year, Keron, we have to go coordinate, so maybe we can do something at UE in Trinidad.
I'm trying to be in Jamaica. Let's coordinate that.
All right, we can talk about that offline. We can talk about that offline. All right, so in the middle of that, what's going to be happening at UE on the Wednesday and Thursday is we're going to actually be having hybrid experience. So this is where the live exhibits are going to be. So on the Wednesday, we have live exhibits that are specifically related to IoT devices, how to safeguard your home. We have Innovate 10X coming to actually showcase their devices. Then we also have Liz the Robot, who is from our community, that's going to be around saying hi or whatever else they're going to program her to say, from the New Tech Innovation Lab, and they'll be showcasing a couple of their other projects as well. And of course, we're going to be having our NFT art displays. We'll have some nice LCD screens that have been supplied for us by one of our other sponsors, Phase 3. And we're going to be showcasing NFT art on that day. And then we also have a couple of gaming stations that are going to be up, so people can relieve some stress. If they want to come by and just hang out and play video games for a couple of hours, they can come and hang out and do that with us. And then on that day also, we are going to be launching our new marketplace, which is a Go Digital Marketplace called, it's for the B2b space. So for the audience that is going to be paying attention to this, you can also, check it out, because it's all about connecting with tech vendors to help you go digital. That's what that marketplace is about, and we're going to be launching that on Wednesday live from University of the West Indies. And then on the Thursday, we're going to have some of the same persons, but we're also now going to have our VR stations where persons can come and put on the goggles and have the full VR experience on the Thursday. So that's going to be happening live. If you're on the island, you'll be able to experience that. And of course, COVID protocols are going to be observed. Of course. So, we're going to make sure that everybody is enjoying the event in a safe way. But yeah, so that's the rundown. It sounded wicked.
This is a jam-packed event, but I wanna dive into it a bit more. So in the planning of this event, right? I know planning it and getting all the moving pieces was hell, still hell. You're still getting everything done. But what were some of the challenges that you guys and your team have seen in the Caribbean market that you said to yourself, hey, we're doing this event. We want to talk about a lot of things, but you see these top 3 challenges. We need to address these because they are imminent right now. What were some of those challenges that you guys seen that you want to ensure that you guys really drove home on trying to bring solutions with this conference?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. And I think you'll be able to tell based on just how many sessions we have on certain topics. So first things first, education. Education and just that workforce skill set space. We have like 4 different discussions around it, coming at it from different angles. And the reason why we focus so heavily on education is because we feel that there is a shadow pandemic happening with our children right now.
Yes.
Because there are so many of them that have been disconnected throughout the course of this pandemic, or even if they are connected, they're just not getting the level of educational support that they need to get. And so we have brought in persons from primary all the way through tertiary academia institutions to come on and talk about the solutions that are in the space, both the challenges as well as the solutions that are in the space, so that persons can take on insights from these thought leaders and utilize those things to help with their own strategies. The second area that we're focusing on, which we think is critical, is really digital transformation. And I know I spoke about it at a high level, saying that we have a whole day dedicated to it, but there's so much that falls within digital transformation. A couple of things include cybersecurity, right? And organizational leadership in the tech era, and how we are managing actually going through a transformation. Because for some persons, I think they were thrust into it by COVID. It's like them wake up one day and work is like, okay, work from home today, and you've never yet connected to VPN. You don't know, you don't have a laptop. You don't know nothing about server, what them talking about, Wi-Fi. I don't have Wi-Fi at home. How dongle you're going to get, so there were just so many different things that came about through the pandemic, and we feel the need to actually talk to persons about this. So from cybersecurity to the actual transformation process is another area that we think is critical. And then third is the financial component, is going digital. Our MSME sector is critical for every country in the world right now. It's not just the region that is trying to really embolden this sector, it's everywhere. And so because we're at such a critical point for this specific sector, we want to make sure that they have the information that they need around technology. We talk a lot about, financing these guys, but the truth is you can give them money, but they can't apply it to the capacity and capability they need through tech, then your money going to go waste. Right? So we have to make sure that we're taking care of that group. So that, I would say, that's kind of the top 3.
Those are some very key areas. Now, there's one challenge that I can see happening, and I want to get your thoughts. With the Caribbean stepping up their game in terms of the infrastructure with technology. I remember when I moved here in 2013, when I touched down, Netflix was buffering. And when I did a speed check, we barely had 1 megabit per second. We are now getting gigabits. We're now getting gigs now. So the technology and infrastructure is growing. And we can now start to learn online from any institution anywhere in the world. Can you see a situation where we start losing our talent to other countries? They're still here. They're still living in Jamaica. They're still living in Trinidad. And we're earning US. So we're living good. But can you see a situation where more of our talent is now working remotely for other countries, building up those other countries and not staying here or not working in the companies here?
Yeah. So if I can see it, and maybe you're right, when we were talking offline earlier, saying that, boy, you see some things happening over here that you don't see happening over there as yet. Well, that is already happening here quite significantly, as a matter of fact. And I sit on a couple of boards that are actively working to not only create that, but to also make sure that it is happening in a way that doesn't hurt our economy. And we do have a couple of those discussions happening on between the Thursday and the Friday around workforce transformation, and also around IT outsourcing. Because one of the things that definitely happened to us, if you remember in the 70s, 80s, there was a huge conversation. Maybe, I don't know if you're aware of this, Keron, but there was a huge discussion around brain drain. It's a very familiar phrase here in Jamaica. We talk about brain drain. And a large part of why you find that that tends to happen where persons, migrate, they leave and go away, is because they don't feel that they have the opportunities available here, right? So even though I would say that we have a critical need on the island as well for those same resources, I would rather persons stay here and bring that FX, that foreign currency back to the islands and spend the money within our economy than actually picking up and leaving. So it's like, yes, it's not just seeing when it's going to happen. It has already started for us, but it's making sure that we have the correct strategies in place. There goes that word again, to safeguard our own economy so that we have somewhat of a balance. As a global citizen, I moved back to Jamaica right around probably the same time you did. And I would say that I've lived in the US, I've lived in Canada, and I've lived here. And as a global citizen, I want to see where we're able to leverage our access that we have to all these markets. And while we're doing that, there's more than enough for everybody. It's just for us all to tap into that abundance mindset and to let go of this feeling like I can't share, I can't collaborate, crabs in a barrel kind of thing, which is what ultimately creates the brain drain or the fear that we're going to lose out if people tend to leave.
Correct. I agree with everything you said. Now we can see what the negative impacts of that are, but again, as you said, it's better for people to be here and bring in the Forex, even if they're working for companies abroad. But let's talk about the good side of that. The flip side is, this now creates opportunities for everybody, as long as you are willing to take a chance. Now, the question I have for you is, are you seeing a high uptick of more people looking to get gigs internationally and not limiting themselves to the opportunities in the country? Because one of the big challenges that I see on a daily basis in Trinidad is every other day in the newspaper, there's complaints about what the government isn't doing to create employment. And I sit here with the little few grains of my head, pulling the rest of them out, thinking, why do we need the government to create the employment when we have, the pandemic has gifted us so many new opportunities. There are so many new industries, there are so many new skills for us to learn digitally. And then we can the world is now our clientele and we don't have an issue with getting paid online and getting paid in US. Do you see a high uptick in that happening in Jamaica, or is there still a big room for improvement? Because for us, there's a big room for improvement over here.
I would say that I see that there's been a high uptick, certainly. I think it's probably more the opposite end of the scale, where we are more concerned about persons actually doing that more than they are inputting, for local companies, right? So what I mean by that is you find that persons are looking for those opportunities overseas. I mean, right now we have one tech company that is heavily recruiting Jamaican engineers, and there is a lot of talk about it. It's in the news, it's everywhere, right? Separate and apart from that, you also have one of the government agencies that is actively focused on upskilling for outsourcing. And so you do have persons that are looking outward for jobs. And similar to some of the programs that you and I run, there are also other persons here that are running programs to help individuals get a start online. So doing that digital training and connecting them with opportunities, whether it's through Upwork or Fiverr, etc. You do have quite a few persons who are taking advantage of that. And it's not that they're looking for these jobs and then not looking for opportunities in Jamaica. I have persons who work for me who have more than one job. They have them Jamaica job, and then they also have where they're providing these, them always talk about island people have how much job. I'm one of those persons. I have how much job.
Right.
And so I expect that I should be able to be connected to multiple sources of income. The pandemic has gifted us with ease of doing business. The world is truly flat again. It is fully integrated, and a lot of, even from a international perspective, a lot of the pushback that we used to get, right, about persons working for overseas companies, a lot
Right.
of that has kind of on the back burner because so many persons are in need of resources. So I would say that we've definitely seen an uptick. I would say that I would want us to be careful that we don't lose too many of our skilled persons. That's where we are on the curve.
Right.
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 Yeah.
Right. And that makes sense. Now, I want to touch on, there's a couple of things that you guys are going to be talking about into the conference. And again, when we hear these words, to most people, they're buzzwords, or again, nothing comes to mind when they think about it. But I want to see if you can give us some use case scenarios for how these things could actually help the Caribbean propel forward. Let's get into, virtual reality, augmented reality, NFTs. What are some use case scenarios for these things that can help the Caribbean people kind of understand how this could work and how it could actually benefit the region, other than us playing games or making an avatar to be on Facebook?
Right. No. That's a great question, Keron. And what I would say is, we actually, last year when we had the event, because it's an annual event, last year we had someone come on to speak about. He actually owns a company that's all they focus on is VR. It's a large company out of the US. I think they're based in New York, and they run AR and VR campaigns for big companies like a Chanel and Dior, so very big companies like that. And last year, when the conversation was being had with us, it seemed as though it was very, futuristic in nature.
Right.
And I think a large part of that comes from persons not necessarily being able to see the applicability to their retail establishment. But that's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about AR and VR. I actually remember a project that we worked on with one of the companies that's inside of my group that we do strategy for.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, I think, in 2018, I think it was. And what we actually did with that company, or maybe it was 2017, was we actually did VR headsets for touring houses. So we were going on a diaspora engagement. We were doing a diaspora campaign to help build up the potential for persons in the diaspora to purchase homes for people in the Caribbean region. Because, we have a very big diaspora kind of link, right?
Correct.
And so we had these VR headsets, and we did this big tour. We went to Canada, we went to a couple of the states in the US, and we went to UK. I was on the UK leg because one of our team members became ill. And it was just so cool to actually see persons who were thinking about buying a place for them grandmother or, their niece or nephew, and they had on the goggles and they were touring the house, they're climbing up the stairs if it's a townhouse. Wow. And so I thought, my gosh, that was what, 5 years ago?
Right.
And you would think that these persons would have now become accustomed to seeing that kind of interaction, but yet it's still somewhat far-fetched. I think that's a great use case. It's, touring homes, virtual home tours. Maybe you don't even have to have people going to the actual sites. You can have them coming just to your office. Similarly, for smaller establishments, even like boutiques, persons can put on and try on clothing, see themselves in different outfits, maybe see yourself with a hairstyle if you're going to a stylist. And then, of course, if you want to get into now the more established organizations, talk about education and how students can interact with virtual environments through augmented reality. So there's lots of different ways that we can apply it. But again, you can have all the technology in the world. If the persons on the other end are not ready for it, are not at demand for it, then it won't take.
And this is where, when there was a lot of uproar, there was a lot of memes, jokes about Facebook announcing the change to Meta and building the
Meta.
metaverse. And again, people for the most part, I've seen people across the region talking about it strictly from the surface level, making the memes, making the jokes or whatever, right? But to me, I think the biggest thing that Facebook is doing, whether you like Facebook or not, I think the biggest thing Facebook has done is they are going to make mainstream augmented reality, virtual reality, NFTs, because I want a use case scenario that I could see and I would love to see, and it would make sense, is for people around the world to be able to experience some of our digital tourism. I would love for them to be able to see some of these unique spots. You could take a tour, like let's just say if you got to tour Duns River Falls virtually, and then after you've done that, you're like, oh wow, now I have to go to Jamaica. I have to go to Jamaica, right? Absolutely. And experience the real thing. So I would love to see digital tourism. I would love to see the entire region start to invest in that. And again, I think with Facebook bringing about the metaverse, I think everybody else is going to now push everything with respects to the metaverse into full drive. And it'll be more mainstream, and more people in the Caribbean are going to start to look up, what the heck this metaverse is. Why is metaverse showing up on my phone? What are these things? I think it's going to make more people start to ask the questions, and that could only help bring about a change now, or at least sooner rather than later. Before we move on from that, though, NFTs and music, Jamaica is leading the way with NFTs and music. Without diving in too deep into it, because we have speakers coming in for that. How does this help Caribbean culture? Because we've always been in a space where everybody wanted to migrate to go get signed, and they never really come back. But how does this kind of help Caribbean artists stay in the Caribbean but still make money off of their craft?
Yeah, well, I think we actually saw some of that happening during the pandemic itself, and I think one of the things that I really like about the NFT approach is just our ability to be those creators and feel secure around our creations, right? So whether it's art or it's music, we can actually stay put, and for those of us who get our visas denied, we don't have to worry necessarily. We don't have to worry necessarily about, whether we have to go to these different embassies, because persons will be able to participate through these digital mediums. And I really feel that this is actually a game changer for the creative industry and the entertainment industry, if we can take advantage of it and make it more public, make it more mainstream, as you said. So whether you're a part of the metaverse, or we have some other kind of entertainment or creative community that is actively pushing this to the forefront, because I think that's part of it too. I think we don't necessarily interact with it enough. Regular folk don't necessarily get to interact with it enough to understand and appreciate what we're trying to put out there. But I agree with you that I think it's a game changer, and I'm looking forward to seeing our artists take advantage of this new space.
Yeah, I fully agree. And again, just seeing some of the Jamaican artists, I think it was Morgan Heritage was the first to drop their new album on an NFT. Somebody else from Jamaica came in right around the same time and did the same thing. So again, I just like seeing the fact that, Caribbean artists are already doing it or starting to do it. And I think now that Facebook has made this big announcement, I think more people, regular Joes, are going to start to now look into these things, because Facebook is bringing in NFTs, AR, VR into every facet of our life. And we know that Facebook is still the largest social media network in the entire Caribbean. Yep. So it will bring awareness, and hopefully we can start to see a little bit more of a change of attitude when those things come in. Now, as we start to wrap up, Stacey, tell me, what are you most excited for throughout this 3-day conference? What is that one or two things that you personally are stoked for?
You know what? I like when we are able to not just deliver value at an event, but then we have that lasting experience after. And so I'm really excited about the platforms that we're going to be launching that are really geared towards making an impact in the region, starting with Jamaica in some instances first, but definitely with the platforms that we're going to be launching, and also with a new program for persons who are interested in advancing themselves in the tech space. So the first platform we talked a little bit about, which is the B2b Marketplace that we're launching, where the MSMEs can actually find help, find vendors that offer the transformation capabilities that they need through technology. The second platform that we're launching, which is actually available for the Caribbean as a whole, is a crowdfunding and crowd investing platform called the Tech Alliance Fund. And the whole thing around the Tech Alliance Fund is that we want to be able to help tech organizations as well as individuals, even your entity, Keron, if you're seeking to raise money to support your business or what you're doing, this platform was built for you and it's managed by the JTDA.
I like money.
Yes, yes. And so, there are many of us, our organization included, that have a real challenge with fundraising through the traditional donor entities that seem to gravitate towards the same persons all the time.
Yeah.
And so what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to create access for those of us who are here doing good work, impactful work, that can't get access to those funds, because there's a big world out there and anybody can want to give, right, to meaningful causes. And then for the tech professionals out there who want to figure out exactly what it is they are learning, what they need to learn, if they want to have a career in tech, or maybe they already have one and they want to expand their skills, we are launching a new partnership with what used to be the British Computer Society. They've also rebranded to the IT Institute for Institute of Chartered IT Professionals. We're launching a new program that will give persons access to their member benefits, which includes assessing your current level of tech skills and being able to find people in the Caribbean region that offer training for you to enhance your skills. We're going to be launching that new partnership at the conference. And of course, as a female leader and a woman in tech, and someone who is very interested in seeing women in tech take their true place and to actually expand the vision for our young girls in STEM and STEAM, the Women in Tech conversations, which we have on both Wednesday and Thursday, are going to be really epic for those of us out there who want to see female leaders in the tech space. I'm championing that effort myself as somebody that has been in love with tech since I was 9 till now, when I am a new age. I won't say the number.
Love it.
But yeah.
Love it. Stacey, before we go, I want to run the BizTech conference ad just so that people can, if they were on the fence about this conference from this discussion, I hope that the video we're about to run gives you a little bit more information, and I hope you guys sign up. So bear with us, Stacey. Don't go nowhere. We're going to quickly look at the event video for the BizTech 2021 conference.
Hi, I'm Alexa Beckford, Program Manager at the Jamaica Technology and Digital Alliance. This year we have something truly amazing for you. BizTech Conference, Unleashing the Power of Tech Within the Caribbean, November 10 to 12. Now what I love about this conference is that we have so many innovative things to show you and enlighten you about the tech trends in the Caribbean. We have a hybrid event planned for you. Yes, I said it, virtual and face-to-face. View our conference exhibition at UE headquarters, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. November 10, meet Liz the Robot. Interact with IoT devices. See the latest in smart and safe home solutions. November 11, view and purchase NFT art. Try our virtual reality experience. Don't forget to tune in virtually to learn more about the trends in tech in the Caribbean. Day 3, Fintech Friday. I'm so excited about that, November 12th, which is totally virtual. Learn more about e-commerce, investing opportunities, and financial opportunities in tech. What are you waiting for? Register today at biztechcom.com.
Wonderful. I see Desiree say she is not on the fence anymore.
Yes, Desiree, can't wait to see you.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Stacey, do you have any closing remarks for the Digipreneur family tonight?
Yeah, guys, I just want to say that we've worked really hard at this conference. We are really excited about all the things that we have prepared to share with you. We want to thank, of course, our sponsors because we couldn't have done this without them. We want to big up Phase 3, Simtai Consulting, Microsoft, who are that top tier. We also want to thank SAP, MC Systems, Manome. We have so many of our big sponsors, Epic Transformation, NCB, our Wicked Good Commercial Bank. We want to thank all of our sponsors. If I've forgotten anybody, just know that you are in our thoughts. And please to visit BizTechConf, BizTechConf.com to register because we have so much in store. Oh, and by the way, whole heap of giveaways. So if you have no other incentives other than to come and enjoy some of the things that we have to share, then please join us if for nothing else but that. So looking forward to seeing everybody. And Keron, by the way, is going to be on one of our panels talking about innovation, right? So we don't want to miss out on Keron's conversation that we're going to be having. So join us, everyone. We're looking forward to having you at BizTech 2021.
I love it. Stacey, listen, anytime you come through, everybody give Stacey a round of applause. Please give Stacey a round of applause. Please make sure you guys go and register for the conference. It's going to be fun. Stacey, thank you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us. This event is loaded. The topics that are being addressed are needed, and we cannot stress that enough. If you want to see how to grow your business digitally, if you want to be participating in e-commerce, if you need to learn how to get funding, if you finally want to learn what on earth is a non-fungible token. Come to this event. Stacey, thank you for taking the time and thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Keron. Big up yourself and big up to everybody that's watching this broadcast, and we'll see it at a later date. See you on Wednesday.
Love it. Stacey, you stay there. I'm going to talk to you offline. As for the rest of the Digipreneur family, listen, I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation tonight. We got into some really, really good stuff. Make sure you guys are registering at BizTechConf. You know what? Let me just share that screen real quick so you guys see it. Register at BizTechConf.com. All right? The link to the website is going to be in the show notes. You guys can also watch the replay if there's any information you guys want to hear back again. The replay is going to be available as soon as we come off of the live stream tonight. I hope to see each and every one of you there for the 3-day event. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream, please drop some fire in the chat. You guys know how I do. Your energy gives me energy, and that is how it allows me to do what I do for you guys. Drop some fire in the chat. I will see you guys on the conference. I'll see you guys this week. All right. Ta-ta, and have yourself a wonderful night. Take